and welcome to week 7. You may notice that my outfit has never changed. That is because I'm recording all of these at the same time. Okay, so now we are in week 7, okay, and we're going to talk about regular ER and IR verbs, right? That is the subject for today. So we are talking about regular ER and IR verbs in the present. Now, all the things that I said about AR verbs stand, right? AR verbs are that's why we start with them, because they're a good measure of how to do conjugation in Spanish. Now that we have ER and IR verbs, we're just going to add ER and IR verbs to the list of things that we already conjugate. All the principles are going to basically stay the same. For example, right, this will still be the root. This will still be the infinitive ending. This will still be the root. This will still be the infinitive ending. This will still be the root. And this will still be the infinitive ending. This will be the root. And this will be the infinitive ending. The only difference between AR verbs and ER and IR verbs is that the present tense endings change. So in AR verbs, we had, right, o, as, a, amos, ais, an. For ER verbs, we're going to have now o, es, e, amos, ais, en. Notice that instead of using an A, right, you have A in AR verbs, you're going to use an E, right, because you're in an ER verb. In IR verbs, though, you're going to also use an E, except occasionally when you use an I, so that can be a little confusing. So for IR verbs, you're going to have o, es, e, imos, is, en. Okay? Let's do a few conjugations so that we can kind of see how they work together. Okay? So again, right, I want to indicate that an action is happening. So I want to take out the ER and I want to write out the root. Okay, now I'm just going to use my new endings, right? I should be old hat at conjugation by now. So I'm just going to use my new endings, right, to indicate that I have an ER verb, right? So here, right, como, comes, come, comemos, perdón, coméis, y comen, okay? And here again, right, I'm just going to take off my IR, and then I'm going to write my root. And then I'm just going to use my IR endings to indicate, right, that I have an IR verb as opposed to any other type of verb, right? So I'm just going to say vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, vivís, viven. Okay? And here, right, I'm going to do exactly the same as I would do with an AR verb. I'm just going to use my new endings, right, that indicate that I have either an ER verb or an IR verb. Here I have an ER verb, right? So I want to make sure that I check this out. Then I want to write down the root. Then I just need to put on the right ending for my ER verb, right, which in the yo form is o. And so that's going to be vendo, no? Here I'm going to write down the right form of the tu. So I'm going to just take off my ER. I'm going to write my root. And then I'm going to write my correct tu form, which is going to be es, right, because I have an ER verb. Carmen y Maria, again, I have an ER, right? So I'm going to write down my root. And then I'm going to just put in, remember this is they, so I'm just going to put in the right form of they for an ER verb, which is creen, no? And then here I have an IR verb, so I'm going to take this off. I'm going to write the root again. And then I'm just going to write the correct form, right, for this IR verb, which is e. Pepe abre. Okay? So this should be very understandable as you've been doing AR verbs a long time, and it should make a lot of sense. So I hope that it does. And next week you're going to be having an exam, right? So you won't have class next week. So I will see you again in week 9. All right. Good luck on your test.